Let's also explain it like this. For example, maybe you are doing well. You've been toiling, struggling all your life, and at the end of the day, God decides to bless you. And we are still moving ahead in life, working hard like mere mortals we are. Then, someone from somewhere all of a sudden gave you a call and called you, maybe just called you one day. This is somebody you've known for like over 20 years, for example, like you guys know each other, like you guys in those days were kind of paddy. Apart from in those days, it could be someone you even know even till date. All of a sudden, they called you from nowhere. When they mention their name on the phone, the first thing you say is, wow, okay, longest time, where have you been? Longest time, how are you? And they will say, we are fine, I'm fine, how are you too, this is that. Maybe that person might say something like, I am so sorry. Let's use Peter, for example. We're using a name now, Peter. So Peter, if you're watching me right now, I want you to know that you are not the one, okay? We're just using the name for our illustration. So let's say you call that one, oh, Peter, where have you been? It's been a long time. And he will say, I'm good, we're managing, this is me. Then all of a sudden, that Peter will now tell you something like, please, I'm really sorry. I have a problem. I have this thing to solve. I don't have any money with me. Please, I need money from you. Can you help borrow me so amount of money? Please help me. Try to understand what is happening right here. This is someone you know. But unfortunately, you don't know that familiar spirits is using them to operate because they've been looking for every avenue to ruin your life. It could be that they succeeded in the beginning and you kept praying to God, and God, out of mercy, decided to lift you up again a second time or a third time. And remember, the devil watches everybody. The devil watches human beings round the clock. The moment they notice that things are moving well for you, the devil can never be happy. They will start looking for a way to destroy you again, even for God to have mercy on you, to lift you up again. They don't like it. As they are watching all these things, the devil can assign one of his agents and tell that agent to go and destroy your life. However that agent would do it, but make sure that that agent should succeed and report back to him. Then this is how those evil spirits operate. That agent will now come into the world and look for a body to possess and use that body to ruin your life. And who are they going to possess? Someone closer to you, someone you know, someone you are used to, even a family member. They are going to use that person's body because it could be somebody that lets herself or himself open. Someone who doesn't pray, someone who doesn't care about the things of God, someone who doesn't have faith, someone who is always shaky, someone who every little thing that will just fall back on faith. The devil will possess them unknowingly to them. Then when the devil does that, the devil knows that this is somebody you are used to. You are the target here. God forbid it. All of you are not any target, but we're just, trying to make us understand and see things. Their target is to destroy you. And they know that if they go to someone you don't know, you won't listen to that person, even if the person calls you. Assuming a stranger called you on the phone and was talking rubbish, you cut the phone. You tell the person, I don't know you. This is a wrong number. Or maybe a stranger meets you and starts saying something you don't understand. Will you give that person a listening ear? You won't. More especially when you listen and you don't understand what that person is saying. You can say, well, I'm sorry, and move on. So the devil cannot use such people. He will use somebody we are used to, somebody you will even decide to go and visit, to operate and bring you down. Then the devil will possess that person. That is why, irrespective of anyone, do not talk too much. Do not talk too much. Then familiar spirit, let's finish up what we were saying. Like I said, that person will ask you of money. If you doesn't have this knowledge on how to handle familiar spirit, because to handle them is a delicate issue, because these are people you know, people that you are in good terms with, and you wouldn't want to make it in such a way that it will look as if both of you are having issues and quarrels. So you be careful. If you do not know how to handle it, that is when you fall. When they ask of that money, it could be a friend you saw last 20 years ago, but you were close to. You will start feeling guilty only when you don't have any knowledge. Then you start looking for a way, even though deep down inside you feel awkward, like, how can you just wake up and start asking me of money? Where were you all those years? People are good at just waking up and ask you of money without even calling you to ask, how are you doing? See, listen, if you know you will want something from anyone in future, begin to build that relationship. We build relationships. How are you? Hope you people are doing well. How's family? In this case, you will be wondering, is it because we know each other? Is it because we were close? How can you just wake up and start earning? But because you don't know how to handle the whole issue, you will keep the money. Then the moment you send your money, that will be the beginning of that person's downfall. From sending the money, strange things will begin to happen. Number one, you will lose the job. Not only that, you will lose the job, you might even be kicked out of a house. If it's your personal house, a lot of strange things will begin to happen to you. Enmity between you and your spouse or your partner, quarrels here and there, your children falling sick, to the extent that favor will disappear from your life. You will lack money, you will lack love, you will lack so many things. Then you begin to wonder, what is happening to me? You had an encounter with familiar spirit, but unfortunately, because you don't have any knowledge on them, that is why you will fall into this temptation. If you have knowledge about familiar spirits, you will put them in their place. Another illustration I'm going to use here to describe a familiar spirit for all of you to understand where I'm going is, for example, you have an uncle, you have an auntie, maybe from your father's side or from your mother's side. These are family. That's why I said they are family members. These are family. And it could be that your mom loves her sister so much. You can imagine her own blood sister, the same mom, the same dad. Then maybe the sister's children doesn't even call you. They don't know who you people are. Or maybe you and them are not in talking terms. Doesn't mean there's an enmity. These are family members. No enmity, just that people are living their lives differently where they are staying. Maybe during holiday, everybody will come back and welcome families back and be happy and enjoy their holiday. So because they are family members, then maybe one day, let's say your dad fell sick and doesn't have money. Or no, let's say your mom fell sick, your mom is sick and there's no money to take care of her. Then you now remember how your mom loved her sister so much, because of that closeness. You will approach the sister, you will call the sister, you will go to the sister, because you believe, more especially, it could be that your mom gives that her sister every single thing. Then you call your sister and let her know that her sister, your mom, is seriously sick in the hospital and there's no money. Please, that the doctor said if you people don't get money, anything can happen. Maybe that's one will tell you, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't have any money. Sometimes, sometimes some of them might even be rude, thinking that the person sick will die. They might be saying something like, I warned her, she doesn't listen, she's very stubborn. I told her not to do this, I told her not to go there. Now she's sick, now she's sick. Where will we get that money? We don't have any money. They'll begin to say, and maybe your mom has been the one training them, training her family, taking care of them. Now this is their turn to come to the rescue of your mom, and they could not. So maybe you decide to leave them in peace. Then your mom miraculously God healed her and everything became all right. Now we are trying to explain how familiar spirits works, how they work. All of a sudden, maybe you are doing well in your office, you went back where you live, and they started hearing story of how you're doing well. Remember I said monitoring spirits and familiar spirits works hand in hand. Then they start hearing stories about you and your progress without you telling them anything. They are hearing about your success. They are hearing every single news about you, and they have found out that you are blessed. Then from nowhere, maybe one of the woman's child will just call you one day. You pick up your phone and say hello, and the person will say, maybe Auntie Rita, how are you? You say, I'm fine. Who am I speaking with? Maybe that one will say, I am I am so person's daughter or son. It's my mom. Then you scream, maybe, oh, because you now discover that that person on the phone is your auntie's daughter or your auntie's son. Maybe immediately you're saying something like, how are you? How is your mommy? The next thing you will hear, Auntie Rita, please, I need 100,000 naira. Please, they said that if we should not pay it, I cannot get admission. Because they heard a lot about you. And this person will just go straight to the point and say, please, can you send me 100,000 naira? Because if I don't bring it tomorrow in school, I will not get an admission in that school. What will you do? Now, here's the thing. Assuming you don't have any single knowledge on how to handle these familiar spirits, you will start feeling guilty unnecessarily. At the same time, you're feeling angry and betrayed. You're feeling annoyed. These are the people you went to for help, and they refuse to help someone who has been training the children and helping them all their lives. Then this particular person that called you doesn't even know who you are, in as much as the mom and your mom are siblings, but this person doesn't know you, doesn't care about you. In fact, you've never heard anything about this person. And you, on your part, you didn't even bother. All of a sudden, not even to call you to ask you how you are doing, but rather to ask for money. Won't you think something like, is that why you called me for money? Do you actually know me? If you want to handle these people, it's simple. You can throw that person question. You need money. They will tell you yes. And you are calling me because of the money. If they say, what do you mean? Ask them. You know you will need this money. But you don't know who I am. You don't know anything about me. But that's okay by me. I'm not complaining. But how can you just wake up and start asking for money? Understand this. These are familiar spirits. These are spirits that you're familiar with. And they're familiar with you. So they believe that you will dish out the money like as if you don't have brain. In this case, you don't give out your money. If they are good and you don't give out the money, they will rather go home and think deeply and know that what they did was wrong. You don't care about someone, you don't know someone, you are just asking for money from the blues. But by the time you stamp your feet and you did not give this money, watch what will happen. They will destroy your name. It will be a family commotion. Their own mom or their dad might even call your own parents to tell them to warn you that they don't blame you, that they don't blame you because you feel you are somebody, because you feel you are now seeing money. They will rain all sorts of curses and abuses and might even cause a family war. These are familiar spirits, in case you don't know how they operate. These are familiar spirits. Familiar spirits are always looking for an avenue to destroy people, knowing fully well that you cannot say no to them. But my dear, embark on prayer and know how to deal with the spirits. When you embark on prayer, number one, you will be fearless because you will be equipped with the armor of God. You will fear no one. You would tell someone how the thing is without mixing words. We have so many familiar spirits. Some of them will call you and tell you, do you know me? Maybe you tell them, no, who am I speaking with? And they will tell you their name. You still tell them, okay, I'm sorry, I don't know you. Can you explain further? You'll be shocked. Somebody will tell you, I am your in-law. My sister is marrying your brother's brother. Or maybe my brother is marrying your sister's cousin brother. How does that concern you? You don't know these people. Maybe after saying that, you are like, okay. And the person will be like, please, can you do me a favor? I will need 500,000 naira. Please, I will need 50,000 naira. Tell me, what will you do? Okay, let's just say ordinarily, as a human being with instincts, with brain that God gave us, what will you do? Because a sister, a brother, or a relation of yours is being married into their compound, someone from nowhere will come and be telling you, I am your in-law. Because of that, give me this. This is how familiar spirits operate. They believe that when they mention that your in-law's name, that you will do something like, oh, then you start dishing out everything you have. Then they will bring you down. These are familiar spirits. Familiar spirits needs iron hand. Polite iron hand. Straight, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Let them deal with it. They will throw tantrums, they will destroy your name, move on. But I would rather advise you, be deep in prayer spiritually, because majority will come after you. For the mere fact that you boldly said, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. Because they are evil spirits. That is why when we discover these things in people we know, and if they happen to go for deliverance, when they are delivered, you will hear some of them will tell you, I didn't know this thing has been happening to me. I didn't know. That is why sometimes we rebuke not that person, but the spirit behind that person, operating through that person to pull you down. And how do you rebuke this person? Forget about the face of that person, as if that person, assuming that person is a family member or your best friend or whoever you know. Forget about the appearance physically. Rebuke the demon walking behind them, walking through them. Because it is the demon you are rebuking, not actually that person. Because that person is still who she is or who he is, but they mistakenly let their door open and got possessed, but they don't even know that they are possessed. So if you look at that person and you are like, how will I tell her this? She's my auntie. How will I open my mouth and do it? Then the demon will ruin you. That is why God's people need to be fierce, strong, fearless. At the end of the day, that person will understand that it wasn't actually them that you are rebuking, that it was actually that demon operating in them that you are rebuking. Monitoring spirit, like we said earlier on, is that spirit that must hear information before they operate. Can't you see? Tame your tongue. Watch what you say. Pay more of attention listening than talking. If you want to talk, don't blab. Just dish out one sentence. Keep your mouth shut. When it comes to your private life, people are so excited all the time, talking about their private life, talking about their achievements, just to let you know how far they have gone in life. Some of them are even looking at it like, if you think I'm not making it, I'm making it, thereby killing themselves by saying every good thing about their life, thinking that they are kind of making you to feel jealous that they are doing well. See, if nobody knows that you are doing well, you don't care. You don't have to tell them I am doing well. No. Let them think whatever they are thinking. In fact, if they think you are not eating food, okay. If they think you are hungry, all right. Why going to tell them every details about how you are successfully doing well? Why? What's the need? That is why I said, when you dish out all these informations, monitoring spirits will grab all of them and begin to walk in your life and destroy you. And they will make sure they've pulled you down completely. And you will be at the verge of even thinking of destroying your own life before they can leave you. Familiar spirit does the same. Familiar spirit is very cunning. Familiar spirits are in colleagues, in friends, colleagues in the office that you are good terms with. You eat in the office together, you buy things together, you chat in the office, you laugh, you go home together, and maybe they drop you or you drop them. Then, because they are closer to you, they keep monitoring you, asking sensitive and delicate questions because they are familiar with you. Meanwhile, they could have familiar spirits in them trying to know everything about you to destroy you. Even if that person is your colleague in the office, don't tell them every details about your life. You owe nobody any explanation on how you live your life, on the things you do. You owe nobody any explanation.